Jake Morrison sat in the control room of Luna Station, drinking his third cup of coffee that night. The space station orbited Earth's moon, its job to watch for signals from deep space. Jake had worked there for 5 years, and most nights were quiet. Too quiet. The coffee tasted bitter, but it kept him awake during the long 12-hour shifts. Outside the thick windows, Earth hung like a blue marble against the black of space. Jake often looked at it and thought about his wife Amy and their son Danny, safe at home in Colorado. The morning shift would arrive in 2 hours. Jake was already thinking about going home when every alarm in the station started screaming at once. Red lights flashed across the control panels. The main computer screen showed something impossible. A signal was coming through the quantum communication array, the experimental system that Earth scientists barely understood. The signal was strong, clear, and definitely not from Earth. Jake's hands shook as he reached for the emergency communication button. His training kicked in and he started recording everything. Whatever was happening, Earth needed to know about it right away. The signal changed. Instead of random noise, it became organized data. Then something even more shocking happened. The alien signal began speaking in perfect English. Primitive species of Sol 3, you have been selected for integration into the Galactic Empire. Jake felt his blood turn cold. Sol 3 was what scientists sometimes called Earth. Someone, or something, was talking directly to humanity. The voice continued, calm and emotionless like a computer reading a grocery list. You have 1 solar rotation to prepare for transition. Resistance will result in planetary sterilization. This is your only warning. The message repeated 3 times, then stopped. Jake sat frozen in his chair, staring at the screens. A solar rotation meant 1 day, 24 hours. The aliens, whoever they were, had just given Earth 1 day to surrender or die. Jake hit every emergency button on his control panel. Within minutes, his screens lit up with incoming calls from Earth Defense Force headquarters, the United Nations and space agencies around the world. Everyone had received the signal. General Peter Clark's face appeared on the main screen, his expression grim. Morrison, are you getting this? Yes, sir. The signal is definitely not from Earth. It came through channels we don't even know how to use properly. Dr. Lisa Harper joined the call from her laboratory in Geneva. She was Earth's leading expert on the possibility of alien life, though until today it had been mostly theory. Jake, we need everything you recorded, every piece of data. We're also detecting additional information hidden in the signal, complex data packets that will take time to decode. Jake uploaded everything to Earth immediately. Around the world, scientists and military leaders were having the same conversation. Humanity had just learned they were not alone in the universe, and their new neighbors were not friendly. President Catherine Wells called an emergency meeting of world leaders. Every major news network interrupted their regular programs. Within an hour, everyone on Earth knew about the message. Dr. Harper worked through the night with teams of scientists and computer experts. The hidden data in the alien message was worse than the threat itself. The information showed detailed maps of Earth's military bases, major cities, and natural resources. The aliens had been watching Earth for a long time. The data also included pictures of other planets. Dead worlds with the broken remains of cities. Species that had refused to surrender and paid the ultimate price. The message was clear. The aliens had done this before, many times. Jake stayed at Luna Station, monitoring space for any signs of incoming ships. His wife Amy called him, her voice scared but trying to sound brave for their son. When are you coming home? She asked. Jake looked at Earth through his window. In less than 24 hours, everything might change forever. I don't know, Amy. Maybe soon. Keep Danny close, okay? General Clark mobilized every military unit on Earth. Nuclear submarines surfaced and prepared their missiles. Fighter jets took to the skies. Soldiers who had been on leave were called back to duty immediately, but everyone knew the truth that no one wanted to say out loud. If the aliens could send messages through technology that humans barely understood, Earth's weapons might not be enough. President Wells addressed the world at midnight. She stood behind her desk in the Oval Office, looking directly into the camera. Her words were simple and honest. My fellow human beings, we face a challenge unlike any in our history. We do not know what tomorrow will bring, but we know what we are. We are survivors. We are fighters. We have never bowed to bullies before, and we will not start now. As the president spoke, Jake Morrison watched the Earth turn slowly in space. Somewhere down there, his family was sleeping. Amy would be holding Danny close, probably unable to sleep herself. The clock on Jake's control panel showed 18 hours remaining. In cities around the world, people looked up at the night sky with new fear and wonder. The stars were no longer distant points of light. They were the homes of creatures that wanted to make Earth their property. Some people panicked. Others prayed. Many simply went about their normal lives, not knowing what else to do. But in government buildings and military bases, in research laboratories and space stations, humanity prepared for war. They had one day to get ready for a fight they could not possibly win. Jake Morrison finished his shift as the sun rose over Earth. The morning crew arrived, their faces showing the same fear and determination he felt. 16 hours remained. The alien ships arrived exactly 24 hours after the warning, just as they had promised. Captain Steve Rogers was flying patrol over the Pacific Ocean when the first ship appeared. It came down through the clouds like a mountain falling from the sky. The ship was bigger than anything Steve had ever seen, bigger than the largest aircraft carrier, bigger than entire city blocks. Control, this is Eagle 1. I have visual contact with unknown aircraft. It's huge. I repeat, it's huge. More ships appeared over every major city on Earth. New York, London, Tokyo, Moscow, Beijing. Each ship was the same massive size, their dark metal hulls blocking out the sun as they settled into the atmosphere. Steve's radio crackled with orders from Earth Defense Command. All units, you are authorized to engage. Take them down. Steve pushed his fighter jet to full speed and aimed at the nearest alien ship. His missiles locked onto the target and he fired everything he had. The missiles streaked through the air and struck the alien vessel. Nothing happened. The explosions looked like tiny firecrackers against the huge ship. The alien vessel's shields glowed briefly, then returned to normal. Around the world, the same scene played out. Fighter jets attacked the alien ships with missiles and bullets. Naval ships fired their biggest guns. Even nuclear missiles were launched from submarines and land bases. Every weapon bounced harmlessly off invisible shields surrounding the alien ships. Then the aliens fired back. Beams of bright energy came from the ships and cut through human military bases like knives through paper. Entire buildings disappeared in seconds. Aircraft carriers split in half and sank into the ocean. The alien weapons were beyond anything humans had ever seen. Steve's squadron of 12 fighter jets became 6, then 3, then just him. His friends died in balls of fire that lit up the sky. Steve kept flying, kept shooting, even though his weapons did nothing. Control, this is Eagle 1. They're too strong. We can't hurt them. Steve's voice was calm even as enemy fire exploded around his plane. Keep fighting, Eagle 1, keep fighting. Steve's plane shook as alien weapons hit his engines. Fire filled his cockpit and he knew he was going to die. He grabbed his radio one last time. Listen to me, everyone. They bleed when you hit them hard enough. Remember that. Steve's plane crashed into the ocean, but his words spread across every military radio frequency. They bleed when you hit them hard enough. Other pilots repeated it. Soldiers wrote it on their helmets. It became the first battle cry of the human resistance. Within 6 hours, the alien ships had destroyed most of Earth's military forces. They landed in major cities and began setting up control zones. Tall barriers rose around government buildings, airports, and important facilities. The aliens themselves finally appeared. High Chancellor Vex stepped out of the largest ship in Washington, D.C. He was nearly 8 feet tall, covered in ornate armor that seemed to be made of metal and crystal. His face was hidden behind a helmet, but his voice carried clearly through speakers built into his suit. Humans of Earth, your military resistance has ended. You will now begin integration into the Galactic Empire. Vex walked to the steps of the Capitol building where news cameras still broadcast to the world. President Wells had been taken to a secure bunker, but the alien leader spoke as if she were standing right in front of him. Your species will serve the Empire as laborers and technicians. Your world's resources will be extracted for the greater good of galactic civilization. Your children will be educated to serve their new masters. Dr. Lisa Harper watched the broadcast from a hidden laboratory beneath Geneva. She had been working non-stop since the invasion began, studying the alien transmissions and the wreckage of destroyed human vehicles. "Kevin, look at this," she said to Dr. Kevin Shaw, a physicist who had joined her team. Dr. Harper pointed to her computer screen, which showed the energy patterns from alien weapons. Their technology is advanced, but it follows the same physical laws as ours: energy, matter, physics, it's all the same. Dr. Shaw leaned over her shoulder. "You mean we can understand it? More than that, we can copy it, learn from it, use it." Across the city, engineer Maria Santos had come to the same conclusion. She was examining pieces of metal from Steve Rogers' fighter jet, metal that had been hit by alien weapons but not completely destroyed. "The alien energy beam changed the molecular structure," she told her assistant. "But look here. The change follows patterns we can predict. We can reverse engineer this." High Chancellor Vex continued his speech to the world. He explained how other planets had been conquered, how their populations had eventually accepted their new place in the Empire. He made it sound simple, even pleasant. "Resistance is pointless. Your weapons cannot harm us. Your technology is primitive. Accept your new role, and your species will survive." But something strange was happening. Instead of surrendering, humans began disappearing. Not killed, just gone. Factory workers, scientists, soldiers, teachers. They slipped away from the alien control zones and vanished into the countryside, into underground tunnels, into places the aliens had not yet found. General Peter Clark had survived the initial attack from a bunker deep in the Rocky Mountains. His radio picked up scattered transmissions from around the world, human military units that had avoided destruction, scientists like Dr. Harper, who were already studying alien technology, ordinary people who refused to accept defeat. "This is General Clark to all surviving units. The aliens think they've won. They think we'll give up like every other species they've conquered. They don't know humans very well." Jake Morrison had made it back to Earth just before the invasion. He found his wife Amy and son Danny in their home in Colorado, but they couldn't stay there. Alien patrols were moving through every neighborhood, making lists of humans and assigning them to work groups. "We have to go," Jake told his family. "There are others gathering in the mountains. We're going to fight back." Amy held Danny close, as they packed only what they could carry. "How can we fight them? You saw what happened to our military." Jake looked out the window at an alien patrol walking down their street. The creatures moved with confidence like they owned the world. Maybe they did for now. Steve Rogers said they bleed when you hit them hard enough. We just have to figure out how to hit them hard enough. That night, as alien ships patrolled the skies, thousands of humans made their way to hidden camps in mountains, forests, and deserts. They carried whatever weapons they could find, along with something more important: the knowledge that the aliens could be hurt. The invasion was complete, but the war was just beginning. 6 months had passed since the alien ships arrived, and High Chancellor Vex was getting angry. His reports to the Galactic Empire showed problems that should not exist. On every other world the Empire had conquered, the local population had surrendered. Within weeks, they accepted their new place as workers and servants. They stopped fighting and started obeying. Humans were different. Lieutenant Colonel Ryan Blake crouched behind the wreckage of a burned car, watching an alien mining facility in what used to be Nevada. The aliens had torn up half the desert to dig for rare metals they needed for their ships. Ryan counted 12 alien guards walking around the facility. They looked relaxed, almost bored. That was their first mistake. "Nicole, are you in position?" Ryan whispered into his radio. "Ready when you are," came the reply. Nicole Gray had been a CIA agent before the invasion. Now she was one of the best sabotage experts in the human resistance. Ryan gave the signal. Explosions rocked the mining facility as Nicole's bombs destroyed the main power generators. The lights went out, and alien guards ran around in confusion, shouting in their strange language. Ryan's team attacked from 3 directions at once. They used weapons taken from dead alien soldiers and modified by human engineers. The weapons worked, but not very well. It took many shots to kill one alien. But the attack worked. The mining facility was destroyed, and tons of valuable metal were ruined. More importantly, the humans captured 3 alien workers who had been too scared to fight back. This same scene happened all over Earth. Human resistance cells attacked alien facilities, rescued human prisoners, and stole alien technology. Every week, the attacks got better organized and more effective. Dr. Lisa Harper had moved her laboratory to an abandoned subway tunnel beneath New York City. She worked with a team of 20 scientists and engineers, all studying captured alien equipment. "Look at this," she said to Dr. Kevin Shaw. On her computer screen was a map of alien communication signals around the world. They're using quantum entanglement for instant communication across the planet. But the system has a weakness. All the signals pass through relay stations. Dr. Shaw understood immediately. If we can hack into those relay stations, we can listen to everything they say to each other. Meanwhile, in the Rocky Mountain bunker, General Peter Clark was meeting with resistance leaders from around the world. The meeting happened through secret radio transmissions that the aliens had not yet learned to decode. "The good news is that we're hurting them," Clark said. "Our attacks have slowed their resource extraction by 30%. The bad news is that they're getting tired of playing nice." Colonel Ryan Blake's voice came through the radio from Nevada. "They're bringing in heavier weapons, General. We hit that mining facility yesterday, and today they burned down 3 nearby towns in revenge." Similar reports came from Europe, Asia, and South America. The aliens were becoming more brutal in their response to human resistance. They killed civilians to punish resistance attacks. They destroyed entire neighborhoods where resistance fighters might be hiding. But instead of making humans surrender, the brutal tactics made more people join the resistance. Susan Miller had been a television news reporter before the invasion. Now she broadcast from hidden transmitters, sending coded messages to resistance cells and reminders to the human population that they were still fighting. "This is the voice of free humanity," she said into her microphone. "The aliens want us to believe we are beaten. They want us to think resistance is hopeless. But every day, brave humans strike back at our invaders. Every day, we prove that Earth still belongs to us." The aliens tried to stop her broadcasts, but humans were good at hiding transmitters and changing frequencies. Susan's voice reached millions of people who were forced to work in alien factories and mines. Jake Morrison had become a leader in the Colorado resistance cell. His wife Amy helped coordinate supply runs, while their son Danny had learned to identify different types of alien vehicles just by their sound. One night, Jake's team made an important discovery. They were raiding an alien supply depot when they found something unexpected: fuel containers that were nearly empty. "Look at these numbers," said Maria Santos, the engineer who had joined Jake's cell. She pointed to markings on the alien fuel. "Containers. If I'm reading this right, they're running low on the fuel their ships need." Jake understood what this meant. They came here expecting a quick victory. They didn't bring enough supplies for a long war. This information spread quickly through the resistance network. Dr. Harper's team confirmed it by analyzing alien communication intercepts. The occupation force was operating far from home with limited resources. Alex Johnson, a young computer programmer, had the breakthrough that changed everything. Working with Dr. Harper's team, he managed to hack into an alien communication relay station. "I'm in," he whispered, hardly believing it himself. "I can see their message traffic." What Alex found was shocking. The alien occupation force had been asking for reinforcements for months. They had expected Earth to surrender quickly, but instead faced a war that was getting harder every day. Even more important, the messages showed that the Galactic Empire had never faced anything like human resistance. Other conquered species had always given up. Humans kept fighting even when victory seemed impossible. Dr. Caroline West, a physicist working with Harper's team, made another crucial discovery. She was studying the alien ship's energy signatures when she noticed something strange. Their shield generators have a recharge cycle, she told the team. For about 3 seconds every minute, the shields drop to half strength while they reset. It wasn't much, but it was something. Human weapons that bounced harmlessly off alien shields at full strength could cause damage during those 3-second windows. The information went immediately to every resistance cell on Earth. For the first time since the invasion, humans had found a way to hurt the alien ships. High Chancellor Vex received the reports of increased human effectiveness with growing concern. His troops were taking casualties. His supply lines were constantly under attack. Most troubling of all, the humans showed no signs of giving up. In his private chambers aboard the command ship, Vex composed a message to the Galactic Empire's Central Command. For the first time in his career, he was requesting emergency reinforcements. The message would take weeks to reach the Empire's homeworlds and weeks more for ships to arrive. Vex had never needed help conquering a primitive world before, but Earth was proving to be different from every other conquest. As he sent the message, explosions rocked his ship. Another human attack, probably another suicide mission that would accomplish little except to show that humans refused to surrender. Vex did not understand that this refusal to surrender was exactly what made humans dangerous. Every other species in the galaxy had eventually accepted defeat when it became obvious. Humans seemed incapable of accepting defeat at all. Down on Earth, the Resistance prepared for their most ambitious operation yet, capturing an intact alien ship with its crew alive. Operation Prometheus began at dawn on a cold Tuesday morning. Colonel Tony Stark led a team of 50 Resistance fighters toward the alien ship that had landed near Chicago. The ship was smaller than the massive command vessels, but it was still 3 times larger than any building in the area. For weeks, Dr. Lisa Harper's intelligence team had studied this particular ship. It was a courier vessel called the Dominion's Edge, used to carry messages and supplies between the larger ships. Most importantly, it only had a crew of 12 aliens. Tony's team had practiced the attack for days, using a mock-up built in an abandoned warehouse. They knew exactly where to place their explosives, exactly how long they had before alien reinforcements would arrive. "Remember, we need prisoners," Tony said into his radio as his team surrounded the ship. "Dead aliens can't tell us their secrets." The attack began with Maria Santos cutting the ship's external power lines. The alien shields flickered and went out for 30 seconds, just long enough for Tony's demolition team to blow holes in the ship's hull. Smoke poured from the damaged areas as Tony's fighters rushed inside. The aliens were caught completely off guard. They had grown used to humans running away from their ships, not attacking them directly. The fight lasted only 10 minutes. 8 aliens died in the battle, but 4 were captured alive. More importantly, the ship's main computer and communication systems were intact. "We got it," Tony radioed to General Clark. "The ship is ours." Getting the captured ship to a safe location was almost as dangerous as capturing it. Human engineers worked frantically to get the alien engines running, while Tony's fighters held off alien rescue attempts. Dr. Harper arrived with her technical team, just as the ship lifted off. For the first time since the invasion began, humans were flying an alien vessel. The interrogation of the alien prisoners took place in a hidden bunker beneath the Appalachian Mountains. Dr. Rachel Brown, a psychologist who had studied alien behavior, led the questioning with help from Professor Andrew Lee, who had been learning the alien language. What they learned changed everything. The Galactic Empire was not the unified, all-powerful force it pretended to be. It ruled through fear and overwhelming technology, but it had serious weaknesses. "The Empire has conquered thousands of worlds," Dr. Brown explained to the Resistance leadership. "But they've never faced prolonged resistance. Every other species eventually surrendered when they realized they couldn't win." Professor Lee had more shocking news. According to the prisoners, humans learn faster than any species the Empire has ever encountered. "Our rate of technological adaptation is unprecedented in galactic history." The captured alien ship provided even more valuable intelligence. Alex Johnson, the young programmer who had first hacked alien communications, was now working directly with alien computer systems. "Their technology is amazing, but it's also predictable," Alex told Dr. Harper. They've been using the same basic systems for thousands of years. They never had to improve because no one ever fought back effectively. Using the alien ship's manufacturing systems, Maria Santos and her engineering team began producing new, weapons. These hybrid human-alien devices were far more effective than anything humans had built before. The first test came when alien forces attacked the resistance base in Montana. Colonel Ryan Blake's fighters met them with the new weapons, and for the first time, humans won a direct battle against alien troops. "They're retreating," Ryan shouted into his radio as alien soldiers ran back to their ships. "The aliens are actually retreating." News of the victory spread through the resistance network within hours. Susan Miller's broadcasts carried the message, to humans in occupied cities around the world, the aliens could be beaten in direct combat. High Chancellor Vex watched the reports from Montana with growing alarm. His forces had just suffered their first major defeat at the hands of primitive humans. Worse, the humans were using modified versions of Imperial technology. The situation got worse when Dr. Harper's team achieved their greatest breakthrough. Working with the captured ship's communication array, they cracked the Empire's quantum communication network. "We can hear everything they're saying," Alex Johnson announced to the Resistance leadership. "Every message between ships, every report, to their homeworlds." The intercepted communications revealed that the alien occupation force was already in serious trouble. They had been requesting reinforcements for months, but help was still weeks away. More importantly, the messages revealed something the aliens had tried to hide. Other species across the galaxy were watching the war on Earth with great interest. "Look at this," Dr. Harper said, pointing to a decoded message. "Species that were conquered years ago are starting to rebel. They're inspired by what we're doing here." Jake Morrison led the mission to sabotage the quantum beacon that would guide alien reinforcements to Earth. The beacon was heavily guarded on a small island off the coast of California. Jake's team of former astronauts and engineers approached the island in captured alien boats. They had one chance to destroy the beacon before reinforcements could arrive. The mission was a success, but it came at a terrible cost. Jake had to stay behind to manually detonate the explosives when the remote detonator failed. Amy Morrison received the news at the Resistance base in Colorado. Her husband had died to buy humanity more time, but his sacrifice ensured that the alien occupation force would remain isolated. "Tell everyone what he did," Amy said through her tears. "Tell them Jake Morrison made sure the aliens can't call for help." Jake's sacrifice became a symbol of human determination. Across the world, resistance fighters painted his name on their weapons and vehicles. The aliens had killed a hero, but they had also created a legend. Meanwhile, the tide of war was changing dramatically. Human resistance cells were now equipped with alien technology and winning battles they could never have imagined 6 months earlier. Nicole Gray's sabotage teams destroyed alien facilities faster than they could be rebuilt. Dr. Caroline West's weapons research had produced energy shields that could protect human soldiers from alien weapons. Most importantly, the psychological balance had shifted. Alien troops no longer fought with confidence. They had learned to fear human attacks, to expect ambushes and surprises. The captured prisoners revealed one final, crucial piece of information. The alien occupation force was not just isolated from reinforcements. They were also running out of the special fuel their weapons and shields required. "Their weapons will start failing within 2 months, Dr. Brown announced. Their ships will be grounded within 3 months after that." High Chancellor Vex faced a situation no Imperial commander had ever encountered. His forces were trapped on a hostile world, cut off from support, fighting an enemy that grew stronger every day. For the first time in the Empire's history, a conquest was failing. The humans refused to surrender, refused to accept defeat, and somehow kept finding ways to fight more effectively. As alien weapons began to malfunction and their ships struggled to stay in the air, the balance of power on Earth began to shift. The hunters were becoming the hunted, and the galaxy was about to learn that humanity could not be conquered. 1 year after the invasion began, everything had changed. General Peter Clark stood in what used to be High Chancellor Vex's command center in Washington, D.C. The alien equipment was now operated by human technicians who understood it better than its original creators. Outside, human soldiers wearing hybrid human-alien armor patrolled the streets. The occupation zones were gone. Earth belonged to humanity again. The final battle had begun 3 weeks earlier when alien weapons started failing across the planet. Just as Dr. Rachel Brown had predicted, the aliens ran out of the special fuel their technology needed. Colonel Ryan Blake led the assault on the main alien base in Nevada. His fighters moved through the desert at dawn, their new energy weapons cutting through the morning air like lightning. The aliens tried to fight back, but their shields flickered and died. Their energy weapons fired weak shots that barely scratched human armor. For the first time since the invasion, humans had better weapons than their enemies. "This is for Steve Rogers," Ryan said as his team surrounded the alien command post. "This is for Jake Morrison. This is for everyone they killed." The battle lasted 6 hours. When it ended, the aliens surrendered. Similar battles happened around the world. In London, Captain Elena Rodriguez led her team through the ruins of alien fortifications. In Tokyo, former engineer-turned-soldier David Kim accepted the surrender of an entire alien garrison. But the most important battle took place in orbit, above Earth. High Chancellor Vex had retreated to his flagship when the ground battles began to go badly. He planned to use the ship's planet-killer weapon to destroy Earth rather than admit defeat to the Galactic Empire. Dr. Kevin Shaw had volunteered to stop him. Shaw and a team of human technicians had infiltrated the alien flagship using a captured transport ship. They moved through the corridors like ghosts, avoiding alien patrols and security systems. "The weapon is in the ship's core," Shaw whispered into his radio. "If Vex activates it, he can crack the planet in half." Shaw's team fought their way to the ship's central reactor. Alien guards tried to stop them, but human weapons were now superior to anything the Empire had. In the reactor chamber, Shaw found what he was looking for, the power core that fed the planet-killer weapon. He also found something else. Enough. Captured human explosives to destroy the entire ship. Vex's voice echoed through the ship's communication system. "Humans of Earth, you have won this battle, but you will not survive it. If the Empire cannot have your world, no one will." Shaw began setting the explosives while his team held the doors. He had enough time to escape, but someone needed to stay behind to make sure the detonation worked properly. "Tell Earth that we stopped him," Shaw said into his radio. "Tell them the Empire's planet killer is finished." The explosion tore through the alien flagship like a star-going supernova. Vex and his crew died instantly, along with their ability to destroy Earth from orbit. Shaw's sacrifice was the last one humanity needed to make. The remaining alien ships surrendered or fled into deep space, leaving Earth free for the first time in a year. But the victory on Earth was only the beginning. Dr. Lisa Harper's communication intercepts had revealed something amazing. News of humanity's victory was spreading across the galaxy through the Empire's own communication networks. Species that had been conquered decades ago learned that the supposedly invincible Empire could be defeated. Rebellions broke out on dozens of worlds. "The Empire is falling apart," Alex Johnson reported from his monitoring station. "Planets that have been slaves for generations are declaring independence." Nicole Gray, now serving as Earth's first ambassador to alien species, established contact with rebel groups across the galaxy. The species that had once cowered before Imperial might now look to humanity for leadership. "They want to know how we did it," Nicole reported to the United Earth Council. "How we beat an empire that ruled the galaxy for thousands of years." President Catherine Wells, still in office after leading humanity through its darkest hour, addressed the question in a broadcast that reached dozens of worlds. "We won because we never accepted that we had lost," she said. "Every other species the Empire conquered eventually gave up hope. Humans don't know how to give up hope." Maria Santos, now head of Earth's new Department of Alien Technology, worked with former Imperial scientists who had defected to the human cause. Together they developed faster-than-light travel that would let humanity reach the stars. 5 years after the invasion, Earth launched its first interstellar colony ship. The UES Liberation carried 10,000 volunteers to establish humanity's first settlement beyond the solar system. Amy Morrison attended the launch ceremony with her son Danny, now 12 years old. The boy who had once hidden from alien ships was now studying alongside young beings from 6 different worlds at Earth's first interspecies academy. "Dad would have loved this," Danny said, as the colony ship disappeared into hyperspace. Amy smiled, thinking of Jake's sacrifice at the quantum beacon. His death had bought humanity the time it needed to win, and now humans were spreading across the galaxy not as conquerors, but as liberators. Dr. Harper, now Earth's chief science advisor, gave a speech at the ceremony that was broadcast to rebel worlds throughout the galaxy. "The Empire made one critical mistake," she said. "They warned us they were coming. They thought it was a mercy, giving us time to prepare for surrender. They never considered that it might be the key to their own defeat. The Galactic Empire still existed, but it was no longer the dominant force in the galaxy. Half its worlds had declared independence, and more joined the rebellion every month. In the former imperial capital, emergency councils debated how to respond to the human threat. Some wanted to negotiate peace. Others demanded total war against Earth and its allies. But their debates no longer mattered. The galaxy had learned that tyranny could be defeated, that advanced technology could be overcome by determination and courage. President Wells received the final proof of humanity's victory in a message from the Empire's ruling council. It was not a threat or a demand for surrender. It was a request for peace negotiations. "They're asking us to come to their capital world," Wells announced to the United Earth Council. "They want to discuss terms for ending the war." The request was remarkable for what it represented. The Empire that had once demanded Earth's unconditional surrender was now asking for mercy from the species it had tried to enslave. Wells agreed to the negotiations, but on humanity's terms. The talks would take place on a neutral world, with representatives from all the newly independent species present. As Earth's delegation prepared to leave for the peace conference, children played in parks where alien landing craft had once stood. The skies that had been filled with enemy ships now carried human vessels exploring the cosmos. The warning that was supposed to terrorize humanity into submission had instead awakened a sleeping giant. Earth had not only thrown off the chains of empire, but had shown the entire galaxy that freedom was possible. In schools across dozens of worlds, children learned the story of how humanity had refused to kneel, had turned their enemies' weapons against them, and had liberated the galaxy from 10,000 years of tyranny. The Galactic Empire had set its sights on Earth and issued a single warning. That warning had doomed them all.